Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Stacy Brenner, and I have the great honor of serving as Senate Chair of the Environment and Natural Resources Committee, and I represent the communities of Gorham, Scarborough, and Buxton in the Maine State Senate. Before we begin our work today, I want to take a moment to thank you all for your hard work so far this session. Serving in the Maine legislature and on this committee can be extremely demanding and time-consuming. While we may disagree on certain policy areas, I believe every member of this committee is deeply committed to serving their constituents and working in good faith to confront the issues that come before us. That being said, as we approach the halfway point of the legislative session, presiding officers have asked committee chairs to take a minute to remind both legislators and public participants that maintaining decorum is vital to ensuring we can complete our work in an orderly and efficient manner. It's also important to uphold the integrity of this committee. If you need a refresher, the rules of procedure in committee are the same as the rules of procedure in both the Senate and the House under the joint rules. In addition, the Maine Legislative Code of Ethics charges each legislator with civility and responsible conduct, both inside and outside of the State House. Here is how to translate our committee work. Committee members are required to show respect at all times for witnesses and for other committee members. All discussions must be conducted in a manner that is not disruptive. Impugning the motives of another committee member is prohibited. Engaging in the discussion of personalities of other members is prohibited. A committee chair has the power to limit testimony at public hearings as necessary for the orderly conduct of the hearing, and members shall refrain from interrogation that is argumentative, oppressive, repetitive, or unnecessarily embarrassing to the hearing participants. All questions must be addressed through the chair. All speakers must be recognized by the chair. Questions relating to order are decided by the chair, subject to appeal by the committee. If a participant violates the rules of order and decorum, the chair can take action to limit the ability of the participant to continue disrupting a meeting or public hearing. Republican, Democrat, Independent, or unenrolled, every single person who appears before this committee deserves respect, as do our esteemed colleagues who serve on the committee. I want to thank you each for your efforts in helping us meet our duty of civility outlined in the Legislative Code of Ethics and demanded by our constituents. Thank you. And with that, let's go ahead and move around our Zoom space with introductions. Representative Bell.
Good morning. Art Bell, I represent Yarmouth, Shemeke, and Long Island, House District 47. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Representative Dudera.
Oh, whoops. Yes, good morning. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I'm Vicki Dudera. I represent District 94 in the Maine House, the towns of Camden, Islesboro, and Rockport.
Representative Boyle.
Hi, Representative Jim Boyle. I represent Eastern Gorham and Northeastern Scarborough.
Representative Bloom.
Good morning. I'm Lydia Bloom. I represent House District 3 in York.
Representative O'Connor.
Good morning. I am Beth O'Connor. I represent the individuals of House District 5, which is Berwick and part of North Berwick.
Representative Hanley.
Good morning, I'm Jeff Hanley. I represent District 87, which are the towns of Pittston, Allno, Wiscasset, and Randolph.
And Representative Tucker, my co-chair.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Ralph Tucker. I represent House District 50, which is Brunswick. I'd also like to just take a minute to thank Senator Brenner for reminding us of our obligations to have good etiquette and respect for each other and for the public. And I'd just like to take a moment and confess that I have, I think, gone too close to the edge myself. Last Monday, I interrupted one of the witnesses who came over to see us. And I have apologized, and I'm going to try not to get so enthusiastic in the future. and interrupt people or ask loaded questions to try to make a point at the expense of somebody who has joined us in good faith. And so I would like to make that apology at this time. Although I understand that my activities had absolutely nothing to do with the timing of this warning, it just happened to come at the same time. Thank you very much.
Representative Tucker, I always appreciate the alignment of your moral compass, and I'm grateful, as always, to see it expressed. Thank you. And with that, we will, 1 second, Senator Bennett. I just want to make sure that we offer introductions of Dan Tartikoff, our OPLA analyst, and Marianne McMaster, our clerk. We're grateful for your service and your support to our committee. Thank you. Senator Bennett.
Thank you. I didn't have a chance to introduce myself yet. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm Rick Bennett. I have the honor of serving 13 towns in Oxford and Cumberland counties in the Maine Senate and the beautiful foothills of the White Mountains and the Lakes region.
I did not mean to leave you out. It is not at all related to my appreciation of your presence here on our committee. I apologize. Okay, so with that all done, I believe we will move into our work now, which includes some language review. There had been an intent to have an update for LD 866, is it? But we're not going to be doing that today. That's going to be put off for a little while till there's some language ready. So with that, Dan, I'm going to pass it on to you to get us started with language review.
Sure. So I sent out these documents before the weekend, but I'll go over them right now. The first is LD 1429. As I noted, we're still waiting on the fiscal. This is an act to implement the most time-sensitive recommendations of the Maine Climate Council, which is a divided report. The majority report is an act to achieve carbon neutrality in Maine by the year 2045. This looks very similar to the very short amendment that you voted on the last time we worked this bill. There was perhaps a far too technical discussion I had with the revisor's office about whether it should begin with beginning or by. And ultimately I agreed with them that beginning works because this is essentially a prohibition and you can't have a by to lead into a prohibition. It just doesn't linguistically make sense. So I did get approval from the chairs to talk with DEP about this because there was another language question. The only other change is it did previously refer to net annual greenhouse gas emissions level. But the actual defined term in statute is net annual greenhouse gas emissions. And so that has been clarified as well. There are no other changes to that language. And we'll get a fiscal note at some point. I can answer any questions anyone has about that. And depending on the timing of the fiscal, we might send that out electronically.
Any comments or questions from the committee? Yes, Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dan, could you show that up again on the screen? I think it refers to level, if I saw it quickly there in the summary. Net annual, oh no, it doesn't. Net annual greenhouse gas emissions in the state. May not. I guess my more fundamental question was, is the word net kind of defined elsewhere as to what you add, what you subtract, that sort of thing?
So there's a general definition of the entire term net annual greenhouse gas emissions in the climate change law that was inserted a couple years ago when there was a revision to that and the Climate Council was created. The specific definition of net annual greenhouse gas emissions is something that's set out in department rule, and they were provided with the authority to do that. And it's essentially in any given year the total emissions minus the total sequestration. And there's a method that they set out in the rule for calculating that, and there's a number of different sector calculations involved. I don't know the exact specifics of that, but there is a process.
Thank you.
Did you have a follow-up, Senator Bennett? No.
I don't. I was just slow in removing my hand. Sorry.
Representative Hanley?
Yes. Is it possible to get a copy of those rules from the department on
Yeah,
how they determine this?
I can send them out a link to it for sure. They were per the statute, they were routine technical rules, so they didn't come before the legislature. But this committee, well, perhaps no, it was this committee would have received a notice of that rulemaking and then the final adoption. So I can send those out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any additional comments or questions? All right, I believe we are okay with 1429.
Okay, then the next one is 1826. This is the invasive plants and nuisance species bill. The committee amendment, the unanimous committee amendment, as you know, made a number of changes, replaced the original bill and made a number of changes to the existing statute, establishes the interagency task force on invasive aquatic plants and nuisance species. I reviewed this again this morning, and I don't think there are any changes that I would highlight to the language. It is, as far as I can tell, substantively equivalent to what the committee voted on previously. So I will jump to the fiscal note, which is required, and it notes that any additional cost to the interagency task force to develop findings and recommendations and report in 2023, and for DEP, DIF&W, and DMR to participate in the stakeholder group are anticipated to be minor and can be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. So there's no specific appropriations or allocations required for the report.
Any questions or comments from the committee regarding language review for 1829? All right. Yes, Representative Tucker.
I just wanted to, Dan may have already said so, but I understand this was a unanimous report.
Yes.
Not to pass as amended. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that one.
So the last one is LD 1940. This was heard a week ago, and then the committee went into work session, and there was a unanimous ought to pass as amended to incorporate an amendment that Representative Tucker had proposed. The substance of that amendment is pretty much the same here. The only change I would highlight is from a terminology perspective, the revisor's office recommended, and I agreed that the new definition, which was in the amendment, and acceptable air refrigeration or air conditioning product or equipment, it really works better if you use the plural, acceptable refrigeration or air conditioning products or equipment. And so that change was made. It doesn't substantively change the scope or impact of the amendment. Everything else is largely the same to what you reviewed before. And there is a fiscal note which notes that additional costs to the Department of Public Safety associated with this legislation can be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. And I can't recall if we discussed this at all during the hearing or during the work session, but the main uniform building and energy code, which are those statutory provisions that are amended in the amendment and were amended in the original bill, has a technical services board that oversees it, and that is housed under the Department of Public Safety. There could also be some sort of involvement with the state fire marshal, and that office is also housed under the Department of Public Safety, which is why they're referenced here.
Any questions? All right, well, that was very quick. We've been together now for 17 minutes. Any further announcements or concerns from the committee? Questions? We're not together again until February 28th, and I believe we'll be spending the day in a series of public hearings on the 28th that are soon to be announced. Yes, Representative Tucker.
I think we'll be spending the day and perhaps the early evening.
We'll see, I guess, on who enjoys spending that much time with us.